Is the market gonna crash and home prices crater and you're gonna get a great deal if you just wait a year or two to buy a home? Here are 4 reasons that that is a really risky strategy. I'm Melanie Beran with Wyatt Properties, myhomeinhouston.com, and we're gonna talk today about 4 indicators that we have that there is not gonna be a market crash like there was in 2008. If you're considering buying a home, make sure that you like this video and subscribe so that you get all the information that you need on your home buying journey. So here's the disclaimer, nobody has a crystal ball. Don't sue me in 3 years if I'm wrong, right? But being someone who works in the real estate industry day in and day out, relationships with other real estate agents, relationships with lenders and title companies, and a lot of people who have their hands on this information and on this data day in and day out, none of us are predicting that there's going to be a major crash in the next couple of years. And we have 4 really good reasons for that. Not just because we're in this industry and we don't want there to be a crash. We don't, because that would be really bad for all of our home buyers. But because we can look at the data and we can show, hey, these are 4 really good indicators. There's not going to be a crash. Indicator number 1, homes are actually more affordable now than they were in 2007. And I know you're gonna be like, Melanie, you're nuts. Have you seen the news? Prices are going up. I thought you worked in this real estate thing. Here's what I mean by that. The percentage of your income that is going into paying a mortgage and interest payment is on average lower now than it was in 2007. People were paying more of their income at that time to buy a home, which leaves less money for things like food, gas, I almost said food, gas, groceries, but food and groceries are the same thing, mostly. So even though home prices have gone up, the amount of your take-home pay that is being paid to your mortgage and interest on average is lower now than it was in 2007, which leaves you more money to afford other things. So that's what we mean by saying homes are more affordable now than they were in 2007. So if you're seeing people say, hey, homes are unaffordable, so the prices are all gonna crash, that's actually kind of mathematically incorrect. Reason number 2 that there is unlikely to be a crash like there was in 2008, lending restrictions and lending regulations are a whole lot more tight than they were in 2007. That's when you go through the pre-approval process and you feel like you're giving them every document you've ever had in your entire life. That's why. It's because they want to make sure that you are a good fit for the amount of money that they are going to lend you. And there are all kinds of regulations that go along with lending that they need to make sure they follow and you fit to set you up for success for buying a home. Because of that, there's not going to be this huge wave of foreclosures because they weren't lending to people who can't afford things anymore. Now there are some hassles with that, and sometimes it does seem like the regulations get in the way of this or that, but on the whole, lending regulations have significantly tightened up to protect home buyers from being given loans that they really can't afford. One way that we can show that with data is if you look at the number of loans, the volume of loans for buyers with a credit score of under 620, the volume of loans from that has dropped hundreds of billions of dollars. The number of loans being given to buyers who have low credit scores is significantly lower. And that means that the buyers who are buying are more qualified, which means they're less likely to have all of these foreclosures, which is what caused the crash in 2008. So reason number 1 is that homes are actually more affordable than they used to be when you do the math on how much of people's income they're spending on their home. And then reason number 2 is going to be that lending regulations have tightened up significantly, so the number of buyers who are going into foreclosure because they can't pay for their house has been lowered significantly. Number 3 is paired with that. Reason number 3 that there does not look like there's a looming crash on the horizon is that the number of homes in foreclosure has significantly dropped. And this is where I get people who say, hey, Melanie, don't you know there was this whole pandemic thing and you weren't allowed to foreclose on homes? I do. What I also know is that the data shows that in 2018 and 2019, the number of homes in foreclosure was in the 200,000 range, not the 1.5 to 2 million range like it was in 2007. So even though, yes, in the immediate past, we've had some circumstances. We had a pandemic, right, where you couldn't foreclose on people and because of the jobs and all the things, right? regardless of that, even before that, in the years before that, 2018, 2019, you were looking at a couple of 100,000 people in foreclosure, not 1.5 to 2 million people in foreclosure like you were in 2006 and 7 and 8. So the number of foreclosures that led to the crash in 2008, we're not anywhere even close to that in this current market. And reason number 4 that we are not likely to see a housing crash like we did before is we are significantly short on number of homes. Previously, the market crashed because there was a huge oversupply of homes because of the lending regulations caused homes to be loaned to people who couldn't pay for them, and then they went into all these millions of foreclosures, and it was just all like, right? That's not the market we have right now. We are significantly short on homes. In addition to just the normal ebbs and flows, we had a pandemic that shut down the new construction market for months where they couldn't build anything. The supply chains are backed up. We also have like millennials who were living at home, who after living at home in the pandemic were like, no, I need my own home. So they're looking to buy homes. We have people who maybe were in apartments close to work, but now that work has gone totally remote, they want to buy a home with a home office in a suburb or out rural somewhere. We have people who are in apartments or other kinds of multifamily homes that because of the pandemic want their own space and want to be a little more separated from people, so they're looking for homes. So we had this big event that caused the number of homes being built to go down and caused people who were already in their homes to be unsure of what was going on, so they chose not to sell them. And all of these other things, in addition to low interest rates in response to all of the pandemic mitigation decisions made by the government and the stimulus checks and all those things, has caused the number of buyers to go up. That is the exact opposite of what was happening in 2008 when there were too many homes and not enough buyers. Now we have too many buyers and not enough homes. And we're not seeing that change anytime soon. So I don't have a crystal ball. I can't tell you what to do, and if it's not the right time for you to buy for your family for a variety of reasons or whatever, that's fine. I'm not gonna sit here and say put yourself in a bad financial position to buy. What I'm saying is that waiting for the market to crash in a couple of years or waiting for prices to come way down in a couple of years is kind of unlikely to happen. And it's dishonest of me to not share that with you and not help give you some of my professional experience and expertise in this area, right? Like if you work on boilers, I'm gonna pay attention to what you have to say about boilers. Or if you're a lawyer, I'm gonna pay attention to what you have to say about the law. Or if you are an engineer, I'm gonna pay attention to what you have to say about that, right? This is my area and this is what I know and this is what me and my colleagues are in every single day. And we're just not seeing that happening. And I am worried that potential buyers out there who are waiting for this market crash are taking a really risky position to do that. And if it was me talking to a close friend or family, these are the reasons I would give them that I think that may not be a wise decision. So take it for what you will. If you disagree with me, that's fine. Leave that in the comments. I'm more than happy to consider what you have to say or to be able to defend my own positions and my own perspective. But I hope that this was helpful for you because it's hard to cut through all the noise and cut through all the clickbait headlines and figure out what's really going on. So I'm Melanie Beran with Wyatt Properties, myhomeinhouston.com, and I hope something really great happens to you today.